Hello, everyone. This is Sifu Eric and we're starting our first Kung Fu talk in English. We've been doing this in Portuguese with many Kung Fu masters in Brazil. A lot of people have been loving this show, and now I was thinking about why not doing in English as well. So I have a lot of folks, a lot of people to interview, to talk, and discuss a little bit about Kung Fu. And today I have a special guest here, someone who knows a lot or maybe everything about Bak Mei Pai, about Hakka Kung Fu, which is Sifu Eric. He's been doing traditional martial arts for so many years. Sifu Eric, good afternoon. It's really nice to have you. And how's everything doing today?
Very well. Nice to be had by my good brother, Sifu Ronald. Thank you.
Yeah, it's such an honor to have you here. And I would like to talk a little bit about your martial arts background. How did you came into martial arts? Why did you start practicing traditional kung fu, back Mei with styles? Did you ever practice before? Let's talk a little bit about your background in traditional martial arts.
So, my father, he was in Hungar when I was in preschool and kindergarten back in New York City,
Hmm.
Chinatown, New York City, Frank Yee's school. And I don't think they remember him, but he used to take me down to the school. And, I used to practice down there even as young as kindergarten and be a part of, the traditions there, the lion dance, even since I was that age. And so he put me in wushu in Queens, New York City. And I had been doing wushu for at least 6 years or 7 years till I was about 12 years old. And then I started training in whatever style I could find. So karate, ninjutsu, jujitsu, Japanese jujitsu, aikido, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, Greco-Roman wrestling, Western boxing. Um, my coach at the time was former European heavyweight champion Yuri Valulin. So, and I've always went to the best places for all the martial arts that I learned. I've done Filipino martial arts for a bit. Uh, I've done Muay Thai at a number of places when I was young. And I had always a kung fu connection with my father. He went on to do Loho Bafa, then Xing Yi and Bagua. He settled on Bagua. That was his favorite. So I always had the Chinese martial arts connection through him, and he was always showing me things. And so I practiced most martial arts that are out there. And I got into Wing Chun through Eddie Chong. He teaches the Hong Kong Wing Chun from the Yip Man lineage. And then he was Pa Nam, the Pa Nam branch. He was Pa Nam's last Bai and so Pa Nam teaches another branch. And so I finished that system and the Bak Mei that he learned from Fatsan. And Fatsan has a number of different branches in Fatsan that are different than each other. And so I learned this system that comes from a man, Li Yang Zhen. He was also referred to as Li Yang Kin by Eddie Chang. So that's where my Fatsan Bak Mei lineage comes from. And then I went on years later to try and uh, learn other Bak Mei styles, and it has brought me to other places, including the Kwang Man Fong School in New York City.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, they were very interesting as well. So
That's impressive. It's nice that you were able to experiment many different styles of martial arts. And
yeah,
from all this background, we know that there's into Chinese martial arts, there's a lot of similarities into the traditional styles. Why did you actually decided to have the Bak Mei as your main system and not maybe Hong Kyun, which is very famous, Wing Chun after the Ip Man movie? Everybody pretty much knows Wing Chun. Not that they know, but like, everybody start promoting Wing Chun. But why Bak Mei?
Bot May, from what I saw, had the most power. I'm a big guy. I like power. And when I was 10 years old or 11 years old, I believe, I used to go to my father's house um, every weekend. So my parents were divorced, but I would go to his house every weekend, practice kung fu. We would have Cantonese style, Guangdong style Chinese takeout, and we would binge watch kung fu movies and martial arts movies. So he
Mhm.
had all those Shaw Brothers movies. He must have had the whole collection. This dude was unbelievable. His collection was crazy. Yeah, his VHS. So I don't have all of them. I only have very few, but I have some.
Mhm.
And one day we would go to this video store. Back in the day, we used to have, you could rent VHS tapes, and that was the thing going to the video stores, right? So
Mhm.
we go and we get this movie Tiger Claws one weekend. And ever since I saw this movie as a kid, I said, man, that's who I want to be. Bolo Young using Tiger Claws. I said, man, that was he was a Tiger Claw serial killer in Chinatown, New York City, and he studied this Tiger Claw at this exclusive school that was basically a secret society by invitation only. And it was interesting. The Quang Man Fong School was very similar to this place in the way that in the way that they held themselves. They weren't really open to everyone in the public. They were very selective. And on Friday nights, they would meet, and that's where they have their personal closed door session. I'm not sure if I can even say that, but yes, they have their own private meetings, and they were no joke. Their principles are solid. But yeah, it was interesting how that wound up. I wanted a tiger-based system. So from that moment on, I think I was done with a lot of kung fu in terms of personally, like myself. I always loved all the kung fu, but for me, from that point on, I think I wanted a tiger-based system, and that's probably why I fell away from kung fu. I think I had learned enough of the basics of northern Shaolin striking and stuff, and I think I wanted something more hardcore. And so I was looking around, probably, and when I found the Bat Mei, that's what lured me in. And the Wing Chun was just attached to it. And I learned the Wing Chun, and the Wing Chun taught me a lot of good principles. And I'm still into the Pa Nam Wing Chun for some of my personal exercises and internal focus. There's a chi. It's very qigong based. They have their own qigong, and the movements are very much fluid and flowing like Tai Chi and Loho Bafa. So it's a good internal system. And I know people want to debate, well, what's internal and not. And, it's like internally focused. Focused on your intention. More than you know muscular tension and things like that. There is more actual internal and external aspects to kung fu, not just what comes from in China and outside of China. And there's no real consensus on this anyway. So people get all, oh, internal means this, external means that. It's like, yeah, but don't get me started, man. You
Mhm.
know, cheap, I slap this. You know what I mean? Yeah, internal is real, external
Mhm.
is real, not just locality.
It's impressive how you were able to absorb the roots of traditional martial arts, even being in America. Unfortunately, nowadays we see a lot of commercialization schools, Oh yeah, intensive program, you do the thing and then you become a black belt in 6 months.
I
Unfortunately,
I
many
just
many. Mhm.
yeah, I was just fortunate from the beginning to know the difference between real kung fu and the fake stuff, or
Mhm.
what was like the good stuff, like depending on what you're looking for, because not everybody offers the same thing and has the same characteristics and traits. But a school that is has quality in something, there's good quality schools, there's good quality teachers.
Absolutely. And it's amazing how you were able to live this life that we see in the movies, part of it where living in China. I know I live close to Chinatown. This is a new experience for me since 2021, but for you, you being have way more experience, all those things that we see in the movies and practicing a very traditional style, because normally people, when they see like people just doing forms are very beautiful, but if you don't know what you're doing and the intention behind the form, you're just dancing. And when you actually practice with a master that actually knows what they're teaching you, and and start learning in the future what actually each movement have its meaning and its purpose, so we start living the kung fu life that we call, the things that we see in the movies. This is very beautiful. It's very very interesting to see how you were able to obtain so much knowledge now, having your students, having being promoted in this art. One thing that I always been questioned on social medias from even from kung fu practitioners, and that's the thing that we're going to discuss now about application, because many people, from what I respect everybody's point of view. I have my opinion about it, and I think we do share, according to the video that you post a couple of days ago. And I think that was very important because I see a lot of kung fu masters fighting kickboxing, fighting sanda, fighting MMA. Nothing against that, but like, sometimes I question what is the roots of your martial arts. Why do you practice one art and you fight a different art? Like, it doesn't mean that you cannot implement or evolve your art to be, to fix or to match or to put into the art. But when it comes about traditional martial arts, not that, there's a lot of things that, when it comes about competitions, we're not talking about competitions, talking about a self-defense purpose, and it's still the same thing. It's still like, I've seen a lot of people, okay, I do Shaolin Kung Fu, but you see the guy fighting Sanda. I was like, why are you gonna waste your time practicing forms, memorizing forms? When you implement just a couple elements, few elements, maybe almost 10% from your traditional kung fu into a different art, which is sanda, in my point of view. So what is your point of view, and why do you think people nowadays, they use, Western or modern martial arts to apply traditional kung fu?
Because they have not allowed their minds to, they have not brought themselves to the place where they are going to be determined and willing to use their art and only their art against all other fighting systems, and how to make that work, and to allow themselves to flow, which means that they have to remove the fear, and they have to be able to absorb their system and be one with their system, and their system be one with them. And they have to let down the walls. It's all psychological. They're scared. They don't believe in
Mhm,
their system. They don't have faith in their system,
mhm,
and they are not determined to make their system work. And when they do realize at some level, obviously, their system for them is not working at a high level of combat that they want it to, so they have to rely on another system. It's pretty naked
mhm,
why they're doing this. And that's really the issue. They're afraid, and they don't trust their system, and they're not determined to make their system work for them and figure out where is the detach. Why are you detached from your system spiritually, meaning, or really subconsciously, I would say, the subconscious mind and the intent. Why is your intent in fighting so far detached from your system? And
Hmm.
yes, only 24 hours in a day. So while those guys are spending all their time in a 24-hour day on their bread and butter system, you're stretched thin across multiple systems and wondering why you're not winning championships and fights.
Wow, that's very amazing and impressive, what I just heard from you. Because you know, before I just thought people were just lazy on studying their forms, but actually, while you're talking, you made me realize that there is a lack of understanding of what they are really practicing. So I see both extremes. So I see the people that they just jump into modern martial arts with their kung fu, and I see the people that they don't even know how to apply their kung fu. So that's why we see, this guy Xiaodong in China beating up all kung fu masters. Not all, but some fake kung fu
I've seen,
masters.
yeah, I've seen him, maul a few of them, and they're not very realistic. Another
Mm-hmm.
thing I gotta say is with that. Now, then you want to go to these masters who are trying to stick with their kung fu and still getting destroyed, right? Well,
Yes.
yeah, they haven't really been very realistic with their understanding and their applications of their system. They've
Mm-hmm.
never fought anybody on a high level and never really thought, how do I make these up? Because a lot of these applications really are dangerous and don't work. And in fact, yes, I would say are dangerous. I mean, look, if it's a life and death situation, all it takes is one slit to the throat, less than a second, and you're over. You don't have time
Mm-hmm.
to be making mistakes. You don't have time to practice um, ideas in your mind that are dangerous in reality. And not only that, Chinese Kung Fu is big on just using their body weight and the weapons as weight training, and they have their own traditional strength training. It's like, dude, these guys out here are freaking jacked on like drugs, steroids, the best accumulative physical fitness science that has bottlenecked into fitness industry today. All of the state of the art machines in the gym and all kinds of stuff. Like these dudes,
Mm-hmm.
these guys aren't like some like you know monk in a cave somewhere, like picking up rocks and doing squats in a cave. Like these guys are freaking. They're on another level, no joke. And you wanna like it's like getting Yip Man to get into a fist fight with the Terminator. You know what I mean? Like you gotta pick it up with the physical fitness. You gotta be really strong to be really doing serious damage. I know those guys develop a lot of strength from where they at in their body weight and whatever. But like seriously, like the way these professional fighters are training, if you yeah, there's no reason why you can't do your kung fu strength training. And I'm giving out a jewel that I really shouldn't give because I might as well be the only one taking advantage of this and mop the floor with everybody and laugh because you guys don't get it. Why don't you do your kung fu strength training and the strength training these professional athletes are doing? You doing that kung fu strength training is going to put you ahead of the game of the other guy
Mm-hmm.
because he's limited to that training. The kung fu people are limited to that training. If you're doing both, you're a monster. See? And it's
Mm-hmm.
that simple. And people just don't. People are in all these boxes. People in all these boxes everywhere. Everywhere there's boxes, people put around. People love to stay in the cage. You know, I'm a tiger in the woods, in the jungle. I'm not going to be in the cage. I'm not going to be in the cage. That's my mentality. See, that's me absorbing my system. People, they don't understand these basic concepts, man. And so that's another reason. You see this little Tai Chi guy, and I forgot the guy, MMA guy in China. He's like slamming them all over the place. Yeah, if you were strong physically, not just doing for your body weight, but really develop serious muscle, and but there's power in that. You think those guys? Thank God they don't know serious kung fu. Some of those huge back bodybuilders, they'll take somebody's head and they'll just rip. Those guys are insanely strong. Some of those world strong men, they could literally take somebody's head and just twist it off their body almost. They could literally pull a human being's body parts apart, and they don't even know what kind of strength they have. They don't know how to use it. That's good for us. But you think that's fake strength? No way. Especially if you maintain the gong and the spirit of the snake and the softness and the dragon and how to bridge without feeling being detected and being too stiff. Oh man, you're a dangerous individual. Those guys are bad news, man. If they knew some of the stuff we knew, those guys would be no joke. And people don't put this together. Ego, fear of
Mhm.
whatever. They're in the box. So I let people stay in the boxes. I learned all the Bak Mei, learn all the tiger, learn all the leopard, do all the strength training. And then when I cross hands with people, they're shocked. Anyway, there's the
That,
tension on that too.
that's amazing. Completing from what, just giving a very brief, maybe conclusion on this subject. I would say, do you think also is there a lack of experimentation? Because what I think is like I practiced before in places where you were not even allowed to do sparring. You're not even allowed to communicate with other schools to practice, or maybe other practitioners. You just have to be, as you say, inside of a box, not even allowing yourself to experiment. And I know that doing drills are important, but imagine doing pak sao or doing chi sao, just movements that are very mechanical, where I know that you're gonna punch and I know where I have to block. When it comes about sparring, I don't know where you're gonna kick. I don't know where you're gonna punch. And when you don't have that feeling, it's like telling a pilot to have an airplane, and that never had experience actually how to operate an airplane, just been flying through a simulator. So do you think might be also a lack of experiment, where people, they put themselves into a box where they think, oh yeah, I'm doing traditional martial arts and my traditional art does not allow me to spar, because whenever I'm gonna need my Wing Chun, my Hungar, my Shaolin. It's gonna be there, and that's why people get beat up, because they don't have the life experience, and because they, I would say, not because they trust, but I would say there's many different excuses. There's people that just like to rip off students selling bullshit. Sorry for my language. There's people that they don't know what they're teaching, and and they just start throwing movements after movements, and at the end of the day they just don't know what they're doing. So what is your perspective? I know we going a little bit farther on this question, but I think it's very important, especially trying to absorb as much knowledge as I can from you. Like, you're very wise, and I've been loving this talk, and I would like to to have a little bit more understanding your perspective on this subject.
It's even MMA schools and kickboxing schools, Muay Thai schools, like even they look down on the guy who's sparring too hard. There's no
Mhm.
reason to spar too hard, but in every school, there's always a guy in there that wants to play too much and spar too hard and try to impose themselves on you because they have a little narcissistic little wee wee, and they want to have a little egotistical, orgasmic experience in the dojo. You know, they're like rapists in prison. They want to. That's who these people are. Like, what are you doing? Came here to fight? Go to the street for that. Go to the housing projects. Many.
Mhm.
Yeah, you tough guy? Go to Oakland. They're waiting for you. They're waiting for you. East 14th Street, they're waiting for you. Any street corner. And then
Mhm.
those pimps down there, gangsters, they're down there. You want to say something? They got something. You know? Sunnydale projects, right up the block and around the corner, right in San Francisco. You want to go pick a fight? Many of the bars, the dive bars, no problem. No problem. The police will fight you too. See? See
Mhm.
where it doesn't end? That's not what this is for. Huh?
Exactly.
Fighting is not a game. And you don't just walk up to people and pick on people and bother people, you know. That's not what fighting is for, right? And that's what they this what these guys. So you know what? For me, and it happens every time. It's happened multiple times in multiple schools. As I'm a nice guy and I spar light, and then guys want to act tough. You know, there's always some guy who has that like knucklehead, right? You have to knucklehead, meaning in order to get to the brain matter, logic, reason, good character, good example, that's not going to help. You just got to crack the skull open and massage the brain a little bit. You see? Boom. That's what they call knuckleheads. So, knucklehead, every time they want to get turned into a knucklehead with me, I go hard in the paint. It gets stopped. They stop what's going on, and they never come back to the school. And they could have been at the school longer than me. You know, they never come back to the school. This has happened multiple times, and I don't like to lose business for the teacher of the school, the owner of the
Mhm.
school, but this happens every time. You know, because like, look, you think you're hard? I grew up way harder. You know, I could turn on those jets, man. So yeah, those guys are at every school. And in reality, we don't need to spar like that. You shouldn't. You should spar the way you condition your iron body. Spar the way you condition your iron palm. Are you trying to break your hand? No, your goal is to condition it. So we're conditioning each other. That's why we should be all brothers under the same whatever school. It's a family. You don't take your brother and take a baseball bat and walk up to your brother and hit him up in the back of the head because you think it's funny. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
You don't do this to your brother. So train, spar the way you condition yourself, and increase the sparring when it's a mutual. Let's increase it to assist each other in developing our skills and our body conditioning. And but this is a mutual thing. So when you're working together, you're supposed to be like the same body, the same person. You know, conditioning yourself, training yourself. So communicate with your partner because you should be the same person. It should be mutual. You don't impose yourself like this and do things like that. So there's nothing wrong with sparring. Everybody should do it.
Mhm.
And these rules and all of these things, oh, don't spar with this school, don't spar with that school. We had the five elders. They all left the Shaolin Temple, and all of them are known for different systems. You don't think they were like talking with each other, training with each other, maybe doing some light sparring, some of them? Who knows? I mean, they were all around each other. There were so many people who were contemporaries at that time. They spoke with each other. And I think that these rules developed in isolated eras of time and then became crystallized as tradition, you know. So, it's all nonsense. And it's all holding the people back. And that's why I'd say, if you want to be held back, go ahead. I'm not. And we will see the
Mhm.
difference.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Such a great talk. So, why do you think traditional martial arts in general they look like a joke for the majority of the westerns or modern martial arts, such as MMA fighters? You see some jiu-jitsu, you always have like a stupid person behind the keyboard, whenever people post something, oh yeah, this shit does not work in the street or blah blah blah. Why do you think there's so many,
It's become a
nowadays?
oh yeah, and it's become a big issue. Like the the McDojo guy.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
of some of the UFC fighters, like Masvidal, he'll post some of those. You know,
Hmm.
so I mean, big names. This is not like a little issue. This is look. I'm gonna be honest with you. Kung Fu is on the operating table, just flatlining. You know, like Kung Fu
Hmm.
is like, guys, it's really sad. You know, and it's really because, like I said, they don't understand the system. These guys have a whole kind of set of athletic training that is state of the art. They're on, all kinds of drugs. They can lift some serious heavy weight. They train for combat and only combat, no aesthetics, you know. So, you gotta try to say, look, what, when you're talking about kung fu, it's like, look, it's like if you're gonna stay, if you're going to, if you're going to, if you're going to stay relevant, you're gonna have to be able to really dominate as well, or else, it's not gonna happen. And like I said, the biggest thing is people are not, they're not, they're not committed to making their system work and fighting in the flow, shape, pattern, energy pattern of their forms, of their system. So that's identified, like in the old Kung Fu movies. Oh, I was thinking this yesterday. Oh, in the Kung Fu movies, huh, that's snake style. Oh, tiger style. That's crane style. Oh, that is mantis style. Oh, that's peacock style. They would be able to see that. That's the
Hmm.
infinite golden monkey style. How would they? Yeah. How did they identify it in the movie? I want to watch the show. I want to watch UFC and be like, oh wait, that's golden monkey temple style, right? Just from looking at it. Or when you
Hmm.
look at it, I don't know what the heck you're doing. When you're doing the forms, I can identify what you're doing. So
Hmm.
where's the detach? I want to see you look exactly like your form. And I want it to be where people can go do like in Bloodsport. You had the weird monkey dude from West
Hmm.
Africa. That was a little racist. Looking back, and everybody's calling it out on it, but people knew that was oh snap, monkey styles here. Come on, man. You gotta, you're killing me. I want to know what I'm looking at. And be able to use that against those guys. So figure it out and don't break your system. So figure it out. If they're
Hmm.
grappling, how do you stop a grappler? How do you deal with a grappler? How do you utilize the every system has principles. So when you're on the ground, you can still use the hand and shape motions of your system, and they must have some kind of set of principles that would that have to deal with energy and bridging. And I mean, when you're on the ground, you're just bridging. So bridge like you were up top. You know, use your bridging, your upper and lower bridging, because bridging is the legs too. Everybody seems to forget this. I'm like, is the whole kung fu world brain dead right now? You have all of this stuff, you don't even know how to use any of it. These are your tools. Use them. Every little move in the form is your tool for you to use. It's a gift for you. When you just Sifu teaches you, he gives you a gift for the rest of your life. Up to you to keep it or not, and what you do with it. Every little move is a little gem. Every little move can be used for something. You got to get creative. If not, it's not going to happen. The best kung fu practitioner is the one who is the most creative within their system. How do you be? It's like when they give you a little project at school, like kindergarten or something. They give you a bunch of, like, the the icicle sticks, for the ice cream or whatever. They give you those little sticks. You build a house, and you see all these kids. They'll build mansions. They'll build, you know, they'll build the Eiffel Tower, the Leaning Tower of Pisa, with just some sticks and glue, and it looks like a masterpiece. That's your kung fu. Figure it out. You could do a billion different things with it, still just with the same sticks, still looking like your system, but you don't do that, you know? So yeah, they got to figure it out, They got to figure it
Hmm.
out because yeah, so that's why they're going to look at it like a joke and it's like I said, it's not the system, it's just that these systems require a lot of a lot of thinking that requires removing mental borders. It's an art, and how do you make fighting an art? And uh, that's a real martial artist. Now you're like an artiste. You know, you're when you fight, it is an art, or that's
Absolutely.
what a real martial artist is. You are an artist, so it's not just fighting. So that's why it's them. They have MMA, mixed martial art, but in reality, in their science, how they break it down. But like in reality, kung fu is very visually, aesthetically pleasing. So when you fight, yeah, you should look like that. Yeah, and you know what it does is if you're able to fight like that, man, people are like, holy smokes, this guy's no joke. This guy just did like, yeah, when those move, those imagine you can beat up a high level martial artist with these flowery moves and maintain that people are like, what the freak did I just watch? And you'll see in my videos, I don't break my stance when
Hmm.
I'm doing. And people will say, "Oh, I'll get the oohs and the ahs because I allow myself to be creative and industrious in the fighting because the system is flowery. It has flowery elements, elements of surprise. Show that in a real fight with real trained martial artists. Figure it out how you do it. Yeah.
Um,
So if
mhm.
if not, of course they're going to look at it as a joke. They're not stupid. I mean, they
Mhm.
might be to a degree. You know, they're not as stupid as these charlatan, kung fu, la la land, Disneyland magicians want people to be. Yeah,
Exactly. It's
yeah, yeah. Not everybody's going to fall for it.
yeah, it's
Got to talk
impressive
with the
how.
real. You can only fake it till you make it so long. Sorry, go ahead.
No, 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 exactly. No, Sifu, no, you're right. You're definitely right. Many things. It's all about you can fool anyone. Say, oh, okay, I have whatever years of training, but as soon as you touch hands with this person, that experience, that feeling is gonna show up how many years that person actually has it. I can come up to you and tell you, hey, yeah, yeah, I have like 20 years of Bak Fu Pai or Bak Mei, and then as soon as we maybe do a drill or any, and I show you a form, and I say, it doesn't look like they have 20 years of Bak Mei or Bak Fu Pai. It's all about a real experience of real kung fu. I mean, showing the real energy that behind from your words. One thing that I want to touch about is about the White Lotus Society. We I know that's very important. Let's talk about the group back in the days and the group that we've been trying to establish. The similarities and maybe their difference. Of course, we're not here against no political group or anything. Trying to establish order or anything like back in the days, but what can you talk about the White Lotus Society for those that doesn't have any understanding in history and its purpose and how important was maybe the group for the traditional martial arts system?
Yeah, so I wanted to create White Lotus Society just as like a bit of fun, as something nice for the martial arts community to see, where and to get Bak Mei practitioners around the world to kind of share their stories, what their system is about, try and meet everyone who's out there. More like it's like outreach work, and see how, see where all the Bak Mei schools are at and what they do, and just, put it out there, have something out there for everyone. I haven't really been, uh, I haven't really been proactive in trying to go out to everyone in the world in terms of botany. I'd figure we'd establish ourselves in a variety of ways, and before then, and but it was a place where I wanted White Eyebrow and Bat Fu Pai to be celebrated because they do have, even in legend and in oral tradition and um, in Bot Mei and Bot Fu Pai have a unique relationship. I think they come out of very similar places, and a few different schools will attest to that. Um, and a lot of this may have been created over time or fabricated over time, but I think it's just nice to have something where um, everyone is uh, is united in some way and can relate to each other in some way, and we can share differences and similarities and camaraderie, and Haka, Botmate gets put up into a lot of Haka groups on online and Facebook, and it's like Botmate never has its own thing. So I wanted something, and Bat Fu Pai is a very similar sister system, and this is also according to the legends as well and oral traditions. And so I wanted something to revive that. I thought it was cool, and based on the movies, it's just it's having fun with the Pai Mei character. You know, so yeah, that's what I wanted it to be, and it's just to establish brotherhood among everyone.
It's interesting how you're creating this idea of bringing together the Bak Mei system, because nowadays we have many federations, which, in my opinion, is just to take money from people. They don't normally do anything. They promote tournaments. They sometimes just are there just to sell certificates or to establish different services, but we don't see promoting union between the arts. And it's when you talk about having maybe a group that's gonna come and gather everybody from the same system, doesn't matter which lineage. And we're talking about, for example, you said Bak Fu Pai and Bak Mei Pai. It's a big deal though. Like, it's nice to have someone with that initiative of coming up with an idea to gather, a group of individuals to share experience, to share knowledge, and to promote the art. Because honestly, I heard about Bak Me back in maybe 2000, 2005, when I watched Kill Bill, but that was it. I thought it was just a movie character, but since I met Sifu Dane Tobias, and then we start talking back in 2016, and then I was like, oh my goodness. And then I've seen all the shit that he was posting on the internet. I was like, that's really nice though. Like, that's very impressive. We were very good friends. I kept practicing under my other system that I practiced. And then until I got, courage to ask him, hey, listen, can you teach me some of those things? And then that's when we started communicating, and then I eventually became a student. And now we are part of the big group. We're trying to share this idea of promoting the art, how it should be. And it's nice to have good people, like wise people like you, like him, like Aaron, your student. and many other martial artists like the White Tiger School as well, promoting the Bak Fu Pai. It's nice to have people with a pure heart that's actually doing something good for others instead of being, as you said, narcissist or just full of ego or full of crap, just trying to show, okay, you know what, I am the martial artist, whatever, and then this is my art, and and try to partake something that they sometimes they didn't even know, or they doesn't even know what they're teaching, but yeah, it's a great deal. It's nice. In your opinion, about talking about Bak Mei, what is the most challenging aspect of learning Bak Mei Pai? For example, my first style, I think the most challenging aspect was like stances. Coming from a southern school, low stances were very difficult. But in your opinion, what is the most challenging in Bak Mei for
For
new
Bob May,
practitioners, of course?
yes,
For,
of
for new.
course, sure, and no, absolutely. I'll say, like, for real serious Bob May, when I went to the school in Chinatown in New York City, Edgar Wong, he was this guy was no joke, man. When he really these Bot May energies is what makes your Bot May Bot May. Um, and it is the foul, the floating, the tool, the funny like the hot tool girl, and it's funny. Tool is spit, and it's interesting how that is it's the sound in the Cantonese language. So tool, spit, and tum swallowing, and chum sinking, and so it is those four energies. Mastering those four energies is extremely difficult, and unifying them with the teeth, the clenching of the teeth, the neck, and the shoulders down to the hands, the arms and the hands, the back, and the waist and the legs. So to be able to unify all of this is I think the most challenging, and I think will always be the most challenging if you're really serious about perfecting it, because I think that those energies are something you never truly really should say you have perfected. You should always be able to refine, and but to be able to get those energies down to the level of satisfactory of individuals like Edgar Wong, and the Kwangman Fong School, it will take a long, long time, many years, before you can impress any of them with that. That, the rise, sink, swallow, spit, those are very, and maintaining those other six um, powers, or it's really like almost like a, it's almost like a cable that will deliver the electricity through the cable wires, and that's the teeth, the jaw, the neck, right? The arms, the back, the waist, and the stance, and to maintain that as the vehicle to deliver the powers and utilize the powers of rise, sink, swallow, spit. So those six six body mechanisms, and those four are it's almost like the gun, and those four powers are the bullet. you know so that's how you deliver that power. You have to have the structure all the way down from the jaw down to your feet. So to maintain that chain and have it dynamic, be creative, and have every strike and every movement be based on one of those four powers, and be able to deliver those four powers by maintaining the structure from your jaw down to your feet. That's a lot. That is a lot. And so real bot, a lot of bot made schools, I think, you know, it's on a spectrum. I think it's hard to maintain, and so it's I'd say that's the hardest aspect for them to capture.
One thing that it's very impressive about Bak Mi, it's its unique thing of I mean I can say maybe every Hakka style. I haven't practiced other systems besides Bak Fu Pai, but Bak Fu Pai is a little bit very similar to Bak Mi. But the ability to perform what you just said, the four energies of the Yin, and some other systems, maybe because I don't understand, but I don't see that much energy flow besides Tai Chi Shen. They have the Fajin kind of sin kind of thing, which is a little bit similar, very different, but that's something that we can compare. When you talk about like modern martial artists, again, not trying to diminish, but very respectfully, just making a comparison. We just see movements, just maybe boxers just punch here, block in there. We don't have that secret, that the secret thing that we have into the Haka arts that makes it very special, powerful, and deadly and dangerous. If somebody with the wrong mind understand what is actually gained and how to perform the four energies. And it's beautiful because before, like other systems, I've heard people talking about chi and energy, internal energy, but I never saw a system that actually break down every single energy coming from your body, like Bakme, talking about the energy that sinks from your elbow. The stances very well named and performed. Like we have, if you're a Humbak boy, it's not very good. If you're Sangwakma, it's not very, very proper performed. You're never going to be able to apply your gain, your energy, your internal energy outside. And it's beautiful how it breaks down into details for you to actually learn into foundation. Not something general. Oh, it's chi and that's it. It has a process. As you said, one thing connects to the other. The stance, the body, mind, spirit, and plus not just doing movements. It's something completely more advanced that other systems in general does not understand. Again, it's not diminishing other system. There's many other beautiful systems out there, but I think one of the most special things that caught my attention was how those arts, you for you to understand and for you to learn the system is not just something general. It breaks down into things that you can connect like a puzzle and ended up putting the parts together and actually applying properly. And it's a beautiful system. Between the Fatsan Bak Mei and the other lineage, what do you think are the difference between the Bak Mei's arts? We have the Almeishan Bak Mei, we have the Fatsan Bak Mei, many other lineages. How would you describe the difference for those that doesn't understand or that never saw you know that doesn't know Bak Mei in deep understanding like you?
Um, from what I can see, the Hong Kong lineages and some of the other lineages throughout Guangdong, Canton are very linear. They're very they're very much backwards and forwards, but mostly forward, and they might have sidestepping, but that is really the most of the Batme lineages. The Fatsan lineages I find are more circular, so,
Mhm.
and some have theorized that this is because they had incorporated some kind of Fatsan Choili foot. I don't know. It's not really certain to me. Practicing it, but they do have a feature in Fatsan where they have the leopard fist, and so even though the Bat Mei from Hong Kong might have leopard in terms of a philosophy of speed and having a certain amount of agility and actually being focused on speed, which is a characteristic of the leopard. they don't actually have like a leopard fist in a lot of them, um, or in any of them. And in the Fatsan systems, they do all have leopard fists, and they're more circular. But I would say that there's a couple of other Fatsan Bak Mei schools that I would say are different than the one that I have been a part of, in that they aren't as circular as mine and are have more sharp angles. They have sharper angles, and I think Benjamin Calusi. Hopefully, I didn't
Hmm.
mispronounce his name. He's his system. I've noticed and I've seen, um, is he's very focused on combinations and using a lot of combinations, and a lot of fast uh, combination striking, and his execution is more linear than mine. And Zhang Luo, I've seen his system. I've liked his for many years, and he also has interesting sharp angles. And there are other different aspects that I see in their Fatsan Bak Mei. So they're not all entirely related. They are, in fact, in completely different systems, but they are also similar enough to where you could say they had some kind of common origin. You can see similarities in the forms and the patterns in the forms. So you could tell somebody came from someone, you know, and I respect their tradition. If they believe that they were earlier, I wouldn't doubt it. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. So, who's exactly the earliest? I don't know the full story on it. And I'm sure they have their opinions, and, you know, their opinions are respectable, you know. So they're
Absolutely.
different. Yeah, yeah, they are different. And then the Norme San is similar to the Hong Kong and other Guangdong branches, but it has it has bok fu. It looks like the bok fu pie. It looks very unique, and they do have a lot of short, stationary bursts of energy. So, meaning that if the energy bursts are short, they're short because they're stationary. So if you're stationary in those short bursts, you're really supposed to be really close to the person to be delivering these attacks in the Norme San Bak Mei and the Bak Fu Pai that you practice, that comes from the Du family. If you're stationary and you're shooting out short bursts of energy from a stationary position, you need to be really close to be delivering those shots. So you're going to have to get in close to deliver that. So I would say that out of all of them, I'd say that the Duai systems, they seem to be uh, the one to require the most closeness in out of all the three. Well, yeah, there's other different branches, but out of all of the different branches, there's a Vietnamese branch. I heard of another one that they're teaching in the UK. They're another branch entirely. I forget the lineage, and they have others. But I'd say that the Norme San Bak Mei from the Duai family and the Bak Fu Pai, you really need to be up close, closer than the others. But you should be up close with all of them. And that's just my observation.
Yeah, we see those haka arts. They are very unique and effective when it comes about closer range combat because the majority, I mean, I would say maybe 90 to 95 to 99% combats. It's a short range. You're never gonna be in a long distance unless if
If
you're
it's
just gonna kick.
effective combat, yes. If they're really trying to really tear each other apart, it will be close contact. But if yeah, if it's an actual real fight, yeah.
Mm. Exactly that. We're not talking about points like when there's a whole game when it comes about competition, keeping the distance, burning time, and when it comes about self defense, as you're saying, real fight and being effective. It's insane how every movement it's to tear your opponent apart.
Yeah,
It's insane. Sometimes Sifu tells me things. Oh, this movement is to break their opponent's neck. This movement is to break their wrist. This movement is to break their fingers. It's like, boy, that's too much breaking, and it's insane because there's no time to burn. There's no time to waste. You just have to finish the fight as soon as possible. It's not about catching up on game plan or it's about effectiveness. So when you have the ability to finish the fight as soon as possible, you will be the one with the most probability that's gonna survive from that threat. Especially nowadays that people a lot of people they sometimes they cower, they come in groups or they gonna bring weapons. And if you're not ready, if you're over there just testing someone, just doing some fancy movements, nothing against those arts, but it's hard to apply something that's it's most likely unrealistic. And when you see those short range movements with something that we're just gonna talk about soon as well about the gain of the internal energy, it's to finish a fight like in less than 5-10 seconds. Just a couple of blows and that's it, and just go home. And it's impressive. That's one of the things that catch my attention when I was looking at movements. When you see when presentation wise doesn't look beautiful like Olympic wushu, all those flirty things, jumps and jumping and doing all those open hands kind of thing. But when it comes about effective, it's something that you can guarantee that shit's gonna really work if it you really need into a real life situation. And and Bak Mei is also often as is also often known as an explosive power. That's something that we spoke before, which is the game. How does practitioners, in your opinion, develop this attribute? How do they develop the gain, the internal energy? In your perspective, of course, there's many trainings, there's many different ways, but in your point of view, how do they find these attributes to be useful and to develop them?
I think that really it's in the rising, sinking, and spitting.
Mhm.
Um, Getting really good at those. If you can execute the rising, the sinking, rising and spitting, sinking and spitting, you know, and it's the shooting out. So that two's got to be like. It's also thought of as maybe vomiting, like violent vomiting. That's yeah. It's so funny. This is their language. This is their language. I didn't make it up. I'm not trying to be here inappropriate.
Mhm.
It's their language. It's really. It's like it's like the movie Exorcist when she's vomiting it, shooting
Mhm.
the bomb out. That is like the that's you who you really need to be with these systems. The bot man, the bot fu pai. You need to be hitting with all your might, all your power, as fast as you can, every shot. Every time you're making a strike, as fast, hard, and powerful as you can, every shot. And it requires also the assistance. Just can't come from the arms.
Mhm.
It has to come from the body of rising and sinking. So, coupled with that, with the spitting, that's how you develop it. And you have to implement that in every strike, in all of the forms, in the drills. I've shown a number of drills in both systems. And all of those drills that require any kind of ging, you have to, the shooting out. That shooting out has to be like a gunshot. That thing, what I'm saying? It's got to be a 12 gauge shotgun coming out every time. Fast, hard, powerful, as fast, hard, and powerful as you can. And I think that's what makes, the Bak Mei unique. It's relentless in how it's supposed to be that. It's nonstop power, you know? And it reminds you, like Customato, he told Mike Tyson, he said, all of your punches need to be with power and speed. Power and speed. You can never have enough of the two. Power and speed, power and speed, power and speed. That is the never ending, you know, pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. The power and the speed. You'll never have enough. And that's what Bak Mei and Bak Fu Pai are based on. Every single strike, power and speed. And the way you develop it is you just keep doing the forms and you keep doing the drills, the ging drills, and some of the forms like the jikbo or whatever is, those are ging drills that are also forms. You So yeah, keep doing those, and it's nonstop trying to chase the power and the speed to the rising and spitting, sinking and spitting,
Wow, amazing.
and you and utilizing the swallowing also as at times as a chambered spit. So the swallowing is also, when you swallow, there's spitting coming after also. So there's getting the spitting aspect down, utilizing all of those energies and powers and body structures to shoot that spitting out. That's how you do it. You just keep doing it, and you'll never stop having to improve.
Wow, that's so much to learn and to develop and perfect into
Yeah,
the system. We see that it's not just movements. I
I can't say
remember.
I perfected it. I can't say I'm good. I don't even feel good at it, but I do what I can, and it's a never-ending thing. My student Aaron, he was getting frustrated in the beginning. Yeah, and I was, it's something. And he's like, "Well, how do I?" I said, "You just got to keep doing it." And now he's gotten better with it. So,
Really good. I
yeah,
remember first time when I started seeing like his videos. He was good, and then I even mentioned, I think it was a week or 2 weeks ago, to Sifu Dane. I was like, "Have you seen Aaron? Like he's destroying on Bak Mei Pai. Like yeah, he's doing really well. All the movements." And I was like, "Damn, he's like you see that he's really putting a lot of effort and really practicing." And
yeah,
it's nice how he's reaching out a high level of traditional kung fu, and I love it. I enjoy watching his videos. It's really good.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I've made sure that he understood the aesthetics, because keep the aesthetics of the form. Like I said, that's a part of intimidating the enemy.
Mm,
Scaring the enemy. It's like I could kick the crap out of somebody, and I look like that, like the forms. People be like, "Yo, I don't know what this guy's on, but it ain't no joke." And so
exactly.
keep making sure he stays with that form right, and the gang and the power and speed. I told him, keep shooting it out, keep removing the boundaries and the borders in your mind.
Absolutely. That's amazing. Why do you think
Guys,
Bak Mei?
he's doing it.
Why do you think Bak Mei it's not famous like other styles, like such as Shaolin Kung Fu, Hung
It's
Kyun, Choli
intentionally
Fa?
it's intentionally not famous. They
Interesting.
do- they don't want it to be famous. A lot of schools are still closed door. Um, I would be at the Man Fong school, and man, they would turn people away. You know, they would turn the public away, and and it was, if you would get assessed. They didn't accept everybody. You would get assessed. and they'd assess you from the moment they look at you. And it had nothing to do with race, religion,
Hmm.
not height, gender, nothing like that, because everybody was there. They had students of every race and religion there, and everybody was treated very well. If you showed merit, you were treated well. You know, Edgar Wong's is one of his closest students. He's a firefighter in Connecticut. Just very lean, sharp. Young black man, successful black man in Connecticut, and he goes and sees him every weekend. That's his student. So it has nothing to do with race, religion, or whatever, or your culture,
Hmm.
but they'll psychologically analyze you, and they'll be like, yeah, no, this is for closed door only. So it's a private school. You have to be accepted. They don't just take anybody. They're very serious. Morality,
Wow.
character, yeah. If you don't come correct, oh, closed door session. Take care.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's an association. It's more of the old school Bak Mei gentlemen's club, really, just old school OGs up in there, and they're the ones who run that place. And those guys, they've been in Chinatown for many years. So all of the old OGs in Chinatown know about them. Very well respected, very highly respected, very highly respected, very respectable school. The more, uh, no school could be more respectable than their school. Yeah, those guys are no joke. So this school is not a business, really. It's more of an association, a society, a club, you know. And
Hmm.
so that Batme is run like that. It's always been run like that. Very closed door, very niche, very intimidating, and they don't do a lot of advertising. I think very rare. Most of these schools don't have not done a lot of
Absolutely. Yeah, that's just something very impressive. And
Seafood Dane. Seafood Dane and Benjamin Calusi and Bot Made History. I've seen advertised the most. It's not
mhm.
very heavily
It's very unexpected answer because, being in America, we know how martial arts, in a business wise, you have to promote a marketing. Without a marketing, it's almost impossible to for a business to survive. And you see every martial arts school pretty much has a business out there: karate, kempo, taekwondo, MMA, American Top Team kind of thing. They're always promoting because they want to make money, and it's beautiful to see someone that takes the art so serious up to that level where they don't put the money as priority, but they put the art, they respect the tradition as part of their way of living. And it's amazing. It's nice because I was expecting any other answer, like, okay, because maybe there was no movie or something that was maybe as a market. But it's nice that there's no intention of we don't want to be known because they have their ways of living underground. And it's nice, and it's nice to know about that. That's really great.
some schools won't teach to the public at all.
Hmm.
You have to be a student there. They teach other things, and you have to be a student there for a while. And if they like you, they invite you to a closed door class because it's too
Hmm.
dangerous. Botme is too dangerous,
Hmm.
especially my take on it. I don't even know how I'm going to be able to teach a lot of this to a more open public audience. It's too dangerous, so I'm having to figure that out. What categories do I teach people? It's too dangerous. But yeah, that's why a lot traditionally they don't want to teach it to the public. If
Absolutely.
people can take these systems and even further them like I have, like you can do some bad stuff with this stuff, man. It's not a game.
And it also takes away the depending the person that you invite to your school, takes away the tradition. If you have the wrong person, not with the only with the wrong mind of hurting each other, hurting others, but recording thing, posting on social media, making material to public, that's one of the things that actually me very scared of. Every time when I talk about teaching students and stuff, I make them sign a waiver that to make sure that they're not going to be exposing all the things on the internet, because you try to keep something not in secret but something traditional, and it's only for people that actually really are really willing to know and really worth to teach. And when you teach something and then next day you see people recording videos and then you see the whole system out there, you lose the value. Like for example, Wing Chun, you can go online on YouTube and you can get all the forms and certify yourself only as a Wing Chun instructor, because the whole form is right there. Tai Chi is the same thing. Maybe Hong Kyun also, there's many forms of Hong Kyun, Choli Fa, Shaolin, Lohan Shaolin. Nothing against that. I think it's beautiful for people that has there are genuine like us that love to watch videos, that love to watch see other systems out there. But it damages the purpose when you see crooks out there learning from the internet, from YouTube, and uncertifying themselves as a Sifu, as an instructor, and diminishing the art, diminish the purpose of 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 the traditional system that we are teaching, that we're spreading. And it's beautiful that has people still there's still people out there with this mentality of taking martial arts to a next level of tradition and of respect. That's really nice, Sifu. Well, Sifu, I think for me that's it for today. It was a really nice chat with you. I learned a lot. What I love about this conversation is because I'm able to absorb a lot of knowledge from people with quality like you that has a lot to share. Unfortunately, if we can, we will be here for the
We
next
can
two
put
three
a week,
hours.
hey, huh? Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah,
But
gotta
you
go. We
know,
gotta go get a bite to eat at that place we saw in San Francisco with Pai Mei on the front. That's
oh, that's a really yeah, that's a
where
bakery kind of place.
where is that? It's a bakery, huh?
Yeah, it's right out of the tunnel, right next to
It's
Chinatown. It's
right out
between
the
Chinatown.
tunnel. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
we'll
between
get some. We'll
Chinatown
get
and
some. Get some coffee or tea or something, huh?
absolutely, yeah, we have to, and then we have to make more videos as well. Let's try to
Sure.
meet up sometime and talk more about some other special subjects.
Yeah, we got to go through the bak fu pie, man. Got to
Absolutely,
get this
absolutely.
bak fu pie going, brother.
Absolutely, and it's really nice to have you in our first episode in English. I thank you
I know.
so
I'm
much for
honored.
being. I'm honored to have you and to
I'm
spread
honored
all
to be
this.
honored.
Absolutely, it was such an honor, and we're gonna chat again. We're gonna talk again about some more kung fu. Thank you so much, Sifu Eric. If you have any final consideration, if you want to leave over there your social media, let me know if you're also teaching online, or in person, or
Yeah, I'm
if you.
starting to see. Yeah, I'm gonna start teaching online. I'm gonna start teaching online. So yeah, so I'm gonna be teaching online now.
Awesome.
Private.
So I will,
Yeah,
in the description of the video, I'll just leave your information, and everyone that wants to get in touch with you, just
very
go
good.
there, look you and in YouTube or Instagram or Facebook, and then get in touch with you if they want to learn the Fatsan Bak Mei. This guy is legit. It's someone who you guys saw, you guys heard, has a lot of knowledge to spread. We definitely gonna record more episodes with Sifu Eric. But yeah, Sifu, thank you. Appreciate it for your time. Thank you so much.
All right. There you go, brother.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Sifu. So if you are here, I'm gonna leave the link on our both social medias on the description. Also, if you want to download Spotify, maybe you were taking the BART, maybe you're taking the train or driving, and you don't have time to watch. It's been like 1 hour and some minutes. Maybe you can listen to this podcast on Spotify, and learn a little bit more about Bak Mei, about Kung Fu, and about Sifu Eric. Thank you very much if you're up to here listening to this podcast, and you have a wonderful time. See you again. Bye
Have a
bye.
good one, brother. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you.